G'day everyone, welcome along, welcome back to Steel Horse Station. We are heading across to the Vintage Oaks. I'm all set. I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. I saw somebody fleetingly pop in and out according to YouTube, so great to have you in. Thank you very much. We might get right to it. I think I'm ready to go. Let's just start everything up. Looks like, okay, right. So we're at the end of May. So I think rather than run around, what we're going to do is jump into June. And then we can pick up for where I've got to since we streamed last week. Been a few things happening, lots on. Now, as you can see, our usual demands from the bank have hit the account. But let's just go and check out where the fields are at here for a second. So, g'day, John. How are you, sir? I think Mark may have slid in beside you. If not, it is someone else, and we welcome them equally. So, our fields, let's have a look at grass. So we've got sugar beet down at the sugar plants. We have 2 fields of corn up here at John's place. Wheat, of course, is coming along nicely, and 2 fields of sunflowers. Why are they showing as ready to harvest? Oh, that was a bit bizarre. No, that's corn. What do they put in there? They put canola in that field. 57 is the one we want to buy if we can. We won't be able to afford 176. But if we can find our way to a lazy 450 grand, it'd be really neat to pick up field 57. You can see what our current holdings here are. So, oh, and over at Penny's, we've cut the grass and planted a bit of it back. So still some baling and stuff to do over there. We have no contracts other than baling, which I'm only intending to do if we either really need the money badly or get stuck with nothing else. But for the moment, I think we've got actually plenty to be going on with, because if we go back and look at our fields, we've got different growth stages on a couple of them because of the planting across month end. I'm not too fussed about that. But if we have a look at what's our pH is not going to get adjusted. We probably should have put some lime on 61 before we put anything in there. But we do need to get out with some fertilizer, and that is going to require some money, which we don't have at the present. So I have a plan. Let's head down to George's part of the world and see what's what down there. Right, so what I was doing down here, the first job, we'll just have a quick check. So we've almost gotten all of the sugar beet out of these 2 excess storage bins here. Whoops, wrong switch. And what that means in our factory, we're out of milk. We might just deactivate you for the moment. we're still making and distributing sugar. There is still plenty of cut sugar beet in there for processing, but in very shortly we'll run out of the stuff that was accidentally put in uncut. And that'll just leave us a bunch of sugar beet cut to process. Across at the dairy, we have a few products. Well, we have been producing until we ran out of milk, and you can see we're filling up with sugar. So once we get that completely full, then we'll just start selling the sugar direct. But at the moment, it's distributing straight there. In the pig food front, we've got actually plenty of corn and sugar beet in the pig food factory. We're waiting on some protein crop to sort that out. So what I thought I'd just do, oops, that's why I can't hear anything. Let's put some noise on. We'll just, I found this a fairly straightforward technique. I can fill up here and back into the slot. And unload. So that works pretty well. I'm sure I could automate it if I needed to, but I was just been doing a couple of loads every now and again. And as we saw, I mean, if we're getting 17,000 a shot out of the bunker here, it's just a shame they don't show any actual crop in it when they're loaded. So that's all for that one. Let's move up to the next one. Oh, that's probably it. The other lot that we've got is probably what's sitting in the shed up at John's. I didn't actually pay attention to that. Let's have a look here. No, sugar beet pile storage large. Oh, that is the one. I just wasn't in the trigger. Obviously. No, that's better. So, a couple of loads out of here, and then we'll be all ready for the new season. The other thing that I've been doing, we'll get to in a sec, but you can see I've got the global transport pallets there. I did discover a little quirk, and I can't remember if it's a problem that I've had in the past and I didn't know how to fix, but I think I've finally got on top of it. I mentioned it last week. I thought that I was losing product out of those global transport pallets, and in fact I was. So what I found was that they act, as Mark I think said in the stream, they act as a vehicle, which is fine. That's not a problem. Whoops, let's try backing in the right direction. And I had set them up, and the only thing I changed was that I wanted them just to work off a single fill type, which they now do. And in doing so, I had to define a fill type category that I just called local butter, for instance, and it all worked fine. But the problem is, whilst there's a setting in the XML to tell them to ignore the weight of the produce that you put in, it doesn't work consistently. And specifically, it doesn't, it affects the save game. So what happens is by default, they're set to have a maximum weight of 850 kilos. What that means is when you actually exit, or more importantly, when they load in, that load in process detects that the maximum weight is 850 kilos, and therefore any excess product that's in them just disappears. So I suspect the reason that I hadn't encountered it recently is I was using them to transport eggs, you might recall, on Panya, and mainly eggs in the last few games that I'd used them. God, it's me. Concentrate on what you're doing still. And so the weight of eggs is much lower, whereas here I'm doing things like sugar and everything else. And so what I found, which was kind of interesting, we'll run over there. Let me turn that off before I do that. So specifically what I found was that cheese is half the weight of chocolate in that game definition, and so I thought it odd that the chocolate one would only fill to 850 litres, whereas the cheese one would fill to 1700. So what I did was just go into the XML and increase the max weight to 20,000, so 20 tons, and lo and behold, the product loads up. Now I haven't tried it with sugar to see if that's denser still and exceeds that weight. It doesn't seem to change anything in the game because there's a flag set on them as a vehicle to tell it to ignore the weight limit, but that looks like it's only applied after it's loaded in and lost your product from the save game. So the upshot is, oh, and you'll see there's a modification. So this building now has a slightly larger loading dock, and we've changed the spawn area, so now the pallets will load. Also added a little garage here so that there's somewhere to park the forklift. So now we've got some product on here. We can shut our truck, and on this occasion we're just going to drive around the corner because I mentioned that I was doing some work with international exports, which is the sell point that should have been on the map that Sim Brisco very handily sent me. So it is now on the map. Oops, let's try and stay on the road and not have my camera clash. I remember that, so let's just go in cab. So we now have a little bit more clutter around here, which hopefully will allow us to sell Is it going to work? Are we in the sell point? I haven't actually tried this. I'm not in the sell point would be my guess. Yeah, a bit further forward. The sell point may also be on the ground. I haven't raised it. It's getting some. Got the back two ones. Didn't get... G'day, Mark. Why have we not got... I haven't seen that yet, John. am I unable to sell? Does cheese not sell at international exports? Let's have a look here. Cheese. It may not. You know, value it also. No, it should sell here. $30 cheaper, but it should sell here. Have I got it on the other way around? No. So why are you not entering? How weird. The other two emptied out fine. Well, I know one thing that'll help for sure, and that's to lift the or increase the size of the collision box, because I'd say there's a chance that the collision boxes. Whoops, he's not going to be close enough, is he, for a forklift? Nope. See, it sold some pulling it off. So it's just the height of the box, I'd say. Nope. Why am I only getting... Very bizarre. Okay, let's have a look here. Is the cell? Oh, there it is. I was too far forward. So it's just too close to the ground. I just need to lift it up a bit. There we go. And now we've got some cash in the bank. But you get the idea. That's what we're going for. Come on. Put that back on there. But as you can see, we've now got a facility that looks a bit more like a goods receiving area. I haven't put any equipment other than the forklift there. But I've got an opportunity to be able to drive out now and get stuff dropped off. So we've got a little bit of cash. We can zip back around. What stood out to you about Brisco's new map, John? I know it's in the same sort of area, but that's about all I know about it, so... But with any luck, now that I've got these set, there's a lot of trees. That works. So if I get them in the right spot, they will spawn. Beautiful. Cool. So that's that down here. Now let's head back. Let's buy some liquid fertilizer now that we can afford some. Liquid fert. Elm will do. Buy one of those. Buy one of those. It's at the shop. What I thought we might do is where are we? Up the... You drove through the wood for about 3 minutes for right. That sounds like a lot of trees. I might let's find a tractor. Got plenty of maintenance that I want to do. What I actually oh, we don't have $1,000 anymore. Got a sneaking suspicion I'm gonna need care wheels on here on a couple of the crops. But what we'll do is head back across to the other place. Now that the crops are in the ground, I thought rather than take the truck out that we've used for a bit of difference, we do have a regular sprayer, trailed sprayer there. That might be a better choice. And we haven't used it for a little while. Welcome in if you've just joined us. Thanks for dropping by. We are back on Vintage Oaks. Just waiting for harvest season to get underway. Oh, my strange vehicle of the day alert was triggered at lunchtime. I was out doing some errands and a very odd vehicle pulled up next to me at the traffic lights. So as I described it to my son, it looked like the bastard love child of a BMW Z4 mated with a Porsche Cayenne. So the colour didn't help it much. I've since seen online pictures because I had no idea what it was. I realised fairly quickly that the badge on the back was a Ferrari, which is unusual enough in this part of the world, but the fact that it wasn't a what I would describe as a conventional sports car Ferrari was enough to capture attention. So it was a now I'm gonna get the name, Pugo something. I'm gonna have to look it up, aren't I? It was basically kind of like a sporty SUV Ferraris. It was a 4-door with suicide doors on the back. It looked quite weird, and I've subsequently learnt that the first 2 years production, I don't want to be down here, I want to be up in the other yard. The first 2 years production are sold out, and that to purchase one here in Oz, you're looking at somewhere between 750,000 and $1 million Australian dollars, depending on the option set that you choose, which struck me as a rather expensive motor car to be driving around suburban Melbourne. I can't imagine there are many here. Now, I think I want the garage. Can I get it out without moving the truck? No. So that was a little bit of an oddity for the day. Exactly. But I'm sure the local Fines Victoria will be just as happy to send you a electronic speeding ticket for exceeding 40 in a 40 zone in that, just like anything else. It's kind of completely useless. I did learn from the stats that it's got an on-road weight of about 2,200 kilos with change, and that it'll do. Now, how much have we got in here? We've got 900 litres in here, so let's go to the shop and fill up the rest. Actually, what we'll do, we'll be smarter than that. We will unload, is it? Why can't I unload here? I don't want to turn it on. I want to unload it. Surely it's Control U. Let's just pull up a little bit further forward. Turn that way, maybe. Alt I. Thank you. Good job. So having remembered before I got to the shop, I can now go and fill up at the shop. While we're here, we will fill the milk tanker up and send it down to the dairy. As you can see, I cut all the grass on Penny's farm. I just haven't picked it up. The decision I made also was that we would yeah, the problem that we have is all in the units, John, because the 40 and 50 you're talking about is 40 mile an hour and 50 mile an hour. The 40 and 50 I'm talking about is between 40 Ks and 50 Ks, which is even worse than that. And there's an annoying group locally that is in some communities trying to get the speed limit lowered to 30 kilometers an hour, which is just ridiculous. It's like, we might as well go back to the point where you get the red light and you wave it in front of the car as you walk down the street. But apparently it's not socially acceptable to run over people that are distracted talking on their mobile phones. Even though roads are actually for cars, but hey. Right, let's go to Octopus's Garden. Yes, I'm well aware of that. But if you reduce those speeds to 30 kilometers an hour, yeah, that's right. Well, see, there's very few roads in suburban Melbourne, and keep in mind suburban Melbourne's about the size of Greater London, that have a 70 speed limit. Most these days are 40 or 50 kilometers, and at 40 or 50, well, at 40 k's certainly the stopping distance is quite dramatically shortened. Milk Drop South Dairy, that's the one I want. So it's just bizarre. Now, where was I? I was back here. And then by the time you overlay red light cameras, speed cameras, phone cameras, and all of that, it's very expensive if you're not paying attention. And if you're in a hurry. Right, let us go to the shop. Yeah, well, 20 mile an hour is pretty close to 30 Ks. Look, there are a handful of situations that I think it's warranted. You know, where you've got areas that are by necessity pedestrians and traffic in very close proximity with very poor visibility. But general through roads, so we're talking well-built 2-lane roads, 2 lanes each direction. I just don't understand. You know, it's like, surely at some point the pedestrians have to take responsibility for being on the footpath, not on the road. Let me just check I'm going where I think I'm going. I am. I'm going around the top. We'll do it. School zones. You know, I'm all for in a school zone, right, which should be well signposted, then absolutely slow down. You know, kids stepping out from between cars, crossing zones, all that sort of stuff. Yep, no problem at all with the lower speeds there. Yep. Oh, well. What can you do? It's a nice day for spraying. Now, we also have a ton of silage. I didn't point that out when I opened stock check before, but I made the decision that apart from so we've got over 600,000 litres in the pit down at George's, so I made the decision that that was plenty of loose silage to have. We can cart it up to either be sold or for Penny to use for the cows as required. But I decided we'll just go with, we won't bother to put what I cut on Penny's meadows into bunkers. I just continuing around baling it, and it just makes it easy to ship off a truckload to sell, which we'll do a bit later on. There is a bit more there that needs baling up, and at this stage I haven't elected to put any crop in any of those, and there's still 3 meadows at John's place, so we've got good coverage of grass product. We've also got tons of hay, so those 2 fields we were doing last week, turned all of those into hay and baled that up. All right, let's go in here and pick up our foot. So that was the method in my madness of leaving the emptying it first, which hopefully means we'll get both of these in here, or at least a substantial portion of both of these. Not quite both. Can't quite reach the milk drop because I've parked in front of it with the other truck. That'll do us. So the first priorities are the crops at Paul's. At John's rather. So let's head to John's yard. Oh, why? If Mark is got a minute. Let's go there. So you can see here we're fermenting silage. It's at 35%, so it's covering and it's working. The problem I'm having, which I had encountered before, but I don't know of an easy fix, is it turns out that this piece of land, which I've appropriated being as being part of this field and the field that I've got up the end. So you'll see I've got this field and this field. That's the lake just hiding in there, and right here, oops, here where my cursor is where the bunker is. The problem is you can't buy this land, and so when I've placed the bunker, I've used Brisco's mod, which is fine, works a treat. Because it's not on my land, when I try to cover it, it doesn't give me any options to cover. Now, the way I've achieved it here is I've gone and edited the save file in order to change the state to be covered. And I can do that, but I was wondering if there is actually a setting. Currently, it's defaulted to being owned by field 15. I had it go at farm 15. I had to go at changing it to be owned by farm 0, but that didn't seem to help, and in fact the game automatically switched it back over to farm 15, so that wasn't the right answer. So my question for you, anybody that knows these things better than me, is there an XML setting that I can use, or am I just stuck with going into the save game every time I want to cover this when we use it as a... that is correct, which is the common land. Is there a way to share it? So if I go to if I set it to my farm, so if I go let's have a look. I will switch you across when I get the save file open. Document. Save game 8. Placeable desktop. Let's jump down the bottom, somewhere down here. This clamp here is the one. If I change that to be my farm and save it, when I restart the game, because it's on land that I can't own, it automatically switches it back to be farm 15. Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button. I went through the process to define it. I just hit the wrong button in OBS. Sorry about that. Yeah, so if I change farm ID to be 1, it resets it when I restart the game. So all I've done at the moment is I just changed the state, which it seems quite happy with, and I was going to open farmlands XML. Farmlands XML. Can you change the ownership of the roads? How do I know what? Are they going to be in 255? I don't know which ID is the roads. I will experiment. I don't want to do that in a stream just in case I break it. I normally wouldn't edit this, or I wouldn't even open the save game files while I've got the game running. Let's go back there. But anyway, that's the issue that I was having. And to reiterate what I talked about a couple of weeks ago, this is the other bunker. Obviously, this one will work fine. I'm going to wait until we get another cut of grass in there before I worry about that guy. Now, we're going to need to... There you are. Find you. Let's go and see. What I am loving though is that move mod that we talked about. Made it so much easier to build that sell point and, you know, position buildings and assets closely together and be, oh, that's what we've got to do. We've got to run the weeder across here too. Forgot about that. We will have weeds to deal with. Let's just see. Am I gonna kill crop? No, I can still drive. Excellent. Let's just duck down the bottom here because I left the weeder there. I do have weeds. What size are they? Weeder will work. I know he's just a weenie weeder, but he'll do the trick. Let's get a course going. 6 headlands, starting the center generator course. Perfect. So go back. How many vehicles? There we go. But thank you for the suggestion, Mark. I will give that a whirl. But as I was saying, the that move mod is fantastic for getting stuff, things that normally wouldn't let you place, or particularly when you've got something that automatically you sort of want to overlay and you want to put them at different heights. You can now, of course, adjust them up and down. So when I wanted to put the carporty building, pavilion building over the top. How's that? Whoops. Let's try. Oh, we're waving around like crazy. Lovely. It's a bit slow, but we'll get the job done here. Let's get rid of that. I do like this sprayer, the way it's smart enough to detect, edge detect. Even accounting for my crazy driving. So we might have to get another weeder going, because we'll have weeds on a couple of fields up here, I think, that we planted last time. Yes, it is, John. Nope. It's the power spray. Let's go sprayers. So there is, I think it's got the See and Spray on it. Yes. Although obviously we're fertilizing. This is actually the unit that the Putneys had. It's 10 or 12 years old. And dumping a heap of grow juice on. But we'll get around it pretty quick. Welcome along if you've just popped in. Great to have you. We probably should see if there are any, being June, any early or late contracts available for us. I tend to be happy to, particularly with this, where I know it'll deal with the overlaps because it'll turn off, and I just go with the color coding on the inset mini map. It's generally close enough. As it turns out, I do have GPS on this tractor. Our older tractors don't. Articulated linkages, very cute at the front. And as you can see, this is a good width for this shaped field. Allow us to get through it pretty reasonably, although we will have to go and sell a load of silage if we want to buy any more fertilizer. Let's zip round. If we go up and back, we'll go pretty close. Not quite. We'll just have a skiddy bit to do. The top of the wedge. I was reading about one of the insecticides that's used here in Australia still, which appears to have been banned in certainly the US and I think Europe, that we managed to still need 10 million litres of it last year apparently, but it's now being linked with, amongst other things, a greater incidence of Parkinson's in rural communities. When I say greater incidence, you know, whatever the rate is in the general population, somewhere between 2.5 and 4 times higher in rural communities where this chemical is used. Which was a bit nasty. And along with the article I had, I mean, I shouldn't laugh, but it's just how stuff was done. They had some archive film footage embedded in the article. I read it online. It was by the National News Service, and showing, you know, crop dusters. So the crop dusters standing at the end of the field holding a flag, and the crop duster flies across the top spraying the chemical, and then the flagman runs, you know, 30 feet to the left in time for the crop duster to come round and do the next pass, you know, all the while just getting sprayed in whatever's being dropped out of the plane. It's just like, oh, no safety gear, just terrible. Right, so that's one field done and about half the tank, so that's not too bad. Don't mind that. It's going to be interesting to see, because I would expect Farm Sim Brisco will be quite advanced in his development of Woodside with what he knows about GE, and it'll be interesting to see how much and how much work is involved in converting his map to 25. Yeah, that can't be good, John. We seem to be pretty good at making nasty chemicals to douse ourselves in. Right, that's that field. What we might do... Yep, no. It's... Drop you on there. Three headlands. Three headlands make sure we don't get caught up. Could not generate the course. Okay, so am I not in the field enough? Of course they haven't. That looks better. Three headlands is probably excessive, but we'll go with it. Just make sure he gets off. Yeah, that'll work. Oop. Boom in the face. Yeah, I remember way back in past lives getting the opportunities to tour some of those hazardous plants. I've done the Herxt chemical plant here in Melbourne. At one point I did a refinery in Sydney and in Brisbane. I've done, where else did I get to go? Oh, the Pilkington's float glass plant. That was probably the scariest one I've done, standing in front of the machine that floats the glass, molten glass, as it comes out onto the cooling bed. That's pretty full on. Oh wow, very interesting, John. Right, let's go and find the truck that we need to take these pallets off. You'll do. Grab the pallets off there. orange is for sugar, because that's George's colour. Why are you not going to lift off there? Come on. Too easy, wasn't it? What are you hooked on? There. Really? Touching something, obviously. Yeah, all the plant tours that I did required some sort of orientation briefing so that you knew what to do if particular alarms sounded and where you needed to run to and how long you needed to run for. What have I got here? That one's for the pig food, isn't it? Is the plan? Yes, and causing a decided headache, in fact it was. Even if it didn't look like it was actually attached to it. Let's see here. Oop, lift. That can sit there. Come on, get off there. Thank you. Back in the day, IBM in Australia had a data center that was very large by then standards. We're talking several decades ago now, and it had the only fire protection was water, because as it was explained to me in the briefing beforehand, if there was a fire, you needed it, and you were in the center of the room, you needed long enough to ensure people could get out. And with the automated halon and CO2 systems that it did exist back then, there wasn't enough time to get from the center of the room to the exit door. So they decided to go just with water, which I thought was just an interesting design decision. Okay, so we can pop this guy. Go over here out of the way. Just the little fun little facts you pick up over the course of a career. Now, let's head to Penny's. Where we can get some of these bales and a load of Silage centre. We'll have a look and see where the best place to sell silage is. Oh. How did you get stuck there? Oh, I know. I bet the gate was down when you came through and you got stuck on the post. There's no other reason for you to be. No, you've hit the boom gate and bounced sideways. It's the only downside of the railway. We'll find out if I pulled far enough through the crossing or whether I left the tray of the truck sticking back out. Come on. Where is... Yeah, I've been in plenty of Halon centres. I don't know why I can't unload milk there at the minute. What happened? Oh, I know. I wonder if in moving the... I don't know. Shouldn't have. That's where it is. Ah. I was just in the wrong spot. Now we can unload it. Yes. Yeah, when you're in those, well, any sort of serious industrial facility, the alarms aren't for decoration. If the alarm goes, you go. I learnt that quite early on. Oh no, I wanted to do that because I want to mark you back up there, and I want to turn back on the... Let's we'll go with activate, activate, and activate. That'll be good. Right. Still going up there. Excellent. Now we've got to go and rescue our truck. There's only a couple of words I think that are defined. Oops. And or if you tried to put a link in. That's all Mark would have been alerted to. Basically, I don't, well, almost everybody that we have coming through does the right thing, so I don't see the need to have an extensive list of commands. Oh, that'll be YouTube, and it's PG-13 guidelines. Okie dokie. I actually thought that was a silage clamp there, but I was mistaken. Okay, let's get out of the cab and turn that on. And go and pick up some marshmallows. Oh, really? Not close enough. So as you can see, I planted or seeded some grass, so these fields are all good to go now. We've still got silage to pick up over there. Welcome along if you've just joined us. We are just grabbing some silage. Oh, looks like our sprayer needs refilling, so it'll be just in time we go and sell some of this. Milk tanker is back. As you can see, we've ended up with plenty of silage. No, it's a bit annoying. It'll be however the script is coded. And because I think it's a base game one, it's not something I can fix, I don't believe. 26. Oh, we can fit some more on. Where are you going to put those? You can't, you're full. That's what I thought. So let's have a look and see where is a good spot to sell silage. Up at the BGA, 341 is the max. We're only down at 291, but we need the money. So let's head up there. That'll work. Now, I did learn that the gate out of the house down there is actually quite narrow, not for farm vehicles. Good design point. I'd certainly prefer it to show me exactly what's on the truck. Now, which road do I need to take up here? I think I can go... Yeah, I need to go right, left, and then it doesn't really matter because we're in the middle, left, right. Ah, very good. I understand these things. There's a few people floating through. Which is good to see. We're glad anybody comes in. I might have got a couple of referrals. There's probably a spiritual line in there somewhere, John. But no, I will not. It could be. Everybody could go to your appointment. I've got the last lesson of my... Yes, it would. Got the last lesson of my bridge class tomorrow. The introductory sessions are over. That's been good fun. Definitely glad to have done it. And in tomorrow's class, we'll learn about the next stage, I guess. See ya. You just wanted an excuse to go and get your lunch, Mark. Now I need to go left again, don't I? Is that what I decided? Yes. Ah. Out early today. No, I figured that's where you were going. Was that the one I wanted? Yes. If I'd paid attention to that, which field do I need to turn beside, I would have been fine, but that'd be too easy. Lord Wilson. Sounds auspicious. That is not a term I'm familiar with, but at least I don't think I am. Doesn't ring any bells. There's the carpentry. Yes, we are on the wrong side of the road because I was looking for the gate to turn in. Ah, yes. Oh, that would be a fence post. We just clipped there. I was trying to not catch it with the inside of the trailer. Now, let's see. I think I've got a... That's about where I want to be. Oops, wrong way. Huh. Oh, they probably haven't finished fermenting yet. I didn't even check. Shit, 97%. That'll be about it. G'day, Grant. How are you, sir? Great to have you in. So, we're almost got silage. That explains why I didn't pay any attention to the I've got more silage than that message. There's a whole heap of grass that's actually... And most of it's up here at 66 to 90. No, not all of it. Only some of it. Who knows? I'll leave that sitting there. At some point, it'll sell. Needs to be refilled. We can duck back past the shop. And maybe by the time we get there, we can buy some more. How have you been, Grant? Anything interesting happening in your part of the world? We do need to dust off another weeder. Paul's place, looking as run down as ever. Well, what was Paul's place? Not anymore. Gone. We probably should slow down rather than cranking through Freethorpe at a prodigious rate. I never know whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's kind of one of those cursed either way. So we'll leave the truck here just for a sec until we just lost some cash. Not quite sure why. What would have stolen 25 bucks? How bizarre. Okay, let's go find a weeder. Where are the weeders? All is well with me. Now, oops, wrong place. Yeah, but it shouldn't have been, John, because I will check that the fertilizer spreader shouldn't have been eating cash because we've got the Putneys. Oh, in fact, we haven't set that up, but the Putneys are not paying themselves a salary at the moment. They need to. What am I looking for? Weeders. There we go. We have plenty to choose from. Where is the Aerostar? Let's try weeders. But we don't have the Aerostar. We have the Chopstar. You, where? I think you're a pen. Oh, we do have the Aerostar. Where's the Aerostar? I reckon you're at John's down the bottom. You need maintenance, so we won't do that. You need a ton of maintenance as well. All these vehicles that need maintaining. What about you? You're better, but not much. Really need to get some cash in, don't we? So we can do some of this maintenance. Oh, actually, you're going to be too heavy to do the weeding anyway. But we'll get the weeder over. See you, John. Have a good one, mate. We will indeed see you on Thursday. Actually, we could probably put that's the horse. There's no weeder hiding in there, is there? No. Massey's in pretty good shape. There's a little bit of corn, so let's go and tip that. That's the only other. We've got a little bit of sugar beet sitting in the shed there. Can we tip this in here? Nope. Means it's probably full. Let's just pop you down there. Where's that other weeder? over there. Right. So which is which? You down. Pick up the weeder. And then that'll do. And now we should be light enough to work on that field. You just lost game sound. Huh. Hang on a tick. That's very weird. What? That is most odd. Application audio should be fine. How bizarre. Because what's really bizarre about it, I can see that you've lost it, but I still have it. How is that? It's got to be an OBS thing. But nothing changed on my rename, vertical filters, properties, advanced application audio. So that should just be fine. It's active. How weird. I've not encountered that before. Can't change the volume. I did get something in my head, like a blip in my headphones, but it hasn't affected the game unless, let's just save. Settings. Vehicle volume, volume master, radio volume. Voice chat, voice inputs. It's in push to talk. So let's go up one. Save game. No, that doesn't reset it. back. How odd. Sorry about that, folks. I've no idea how to fix it without restarting OBS. Unless that's always risky. What's that doing? No, that's all normal. We can try that. Let's just... go there. No, nothing that I'm doing seems to have any effect. Oh, you should be back. According to me, that worked. So all I did was switch the sound from my headphones to my headphones and back again. Very weird. Have not experienced that before. Right. This will do the trick around here. So let's... we still haven't managed to sell any silage. I think what we'll do, number of headlands, let's go 4 headlands, start on the headland. That works. Six meters. Excellent. Menu off. 48 minutes. That'll trundle around there nicely and deal with our weeds. We can pop over to Penny's. You're waiting for... what are we doing here? We're baling up some more grass for silage. We've just got the 2 fields here and then over where the... oh, at the back of the house as well. So that'll give us plenty for Penny's deal. Oh, come on, champ. In the new version of the game, when you bump a round object with the vehicle, it rolls. Well, 100%. There we go. bales are a little bit smaller, of course, which means we kick them out a little bit more frequently. And if I cut the corner, I don't pick up swath. That should pretty much get once around here. Won't dive around and get that bit. Now, I'll get one little curve there. Great, nope. Much of that as I can get. Drop that one in the corner. And there we go. Leave those 2 skid marks on the field. Right. So at this stage, I'm planning to leave these all as meadows with the view that we're going to expand the number of cows that we're running when finances allow. Unless people think we should do something different. I think we're close to, well, this crop, when we get it in, should allow us to improve our financial situation quite substantially, I'm hoping. I mean, we're going to have a lot of sugar to sell before we've got the sugar harvesting, because we've almost filled up the dairy. If we have a look at our pig situation, they're coming along nicely. So we're up at 800 for our pigs, 16 months old. So by the end of the year, we'll be selling our first lot of pigs, and we've got sort of 13 at age there, 50 at age here, another 50 at age there. So they should start to generate some income for us. And similarly, we've got to put some more hay in the cow pasture too. Forgot that. I put it all in the shed. We'll go and do that in a minute. We can take that weeder back. To storage. Might go and do that hay now while I remember. While we're waiting for the hour to tick over so we can buy some more fertilizer. Let's just grab that little bit there and park you right here. The other thing I wanted to check was when is so they're all the grass fields that are showing as ready to harvest there. If we turn those off, there's nothing on the map, but our wheat is in its final growth stage. So next time we'll probably go pretty close. What month does wheat kick in? Yeah, the beginning of July. So we might, for Thursday's stream, I'll see how I go. We might roll forward to July. So that we can start the harvest. Cozy little lane. I think we'll stick this in the shed here. If we've got, it's a bit tight to get that in there, isn't it? So there we go. Yeah, decide which one you want to drive in and steal. Swing. You're just not gonna go, are you? That's better. We have the no milk there, which we expect. The animals are probably getting close, and they need some more hay, which means we need it's up here. There we go, we got some bales just there, just for the purpose. Don't even need to get them out of the store. Good. Oh. I've just got that. A couple more little fields and that'll be all the silage collected. These guys can munch on this for a little while. Come on. It's better. While I'm backing up slowly, I'll just check. So the cows, yeah, they're at 10 months. And from memory, they start producing milk at 12 if we give them TMR. So there's a couple more months and then we'll move them into the cow shed. What are they? But yeah, we should be able to bump up our milk production. Also looks like we've got a heap of slurry that we want to spread over on those grass fields. Provide a little fertilizing. We might do that on Thursday. What happened there? Just use the side of the vehicle as the buffer. Don't worry about the bale fork through the sidewall of the tyre. Got those special run flats on there. Don't know if you're still there, Grant. I was saying to the folks before, I saw the Ferrari SUV on the road here in Melbourne today. Or taking out the windows, yes. Either or. We're going to want you at the other end anyway. Yeah, it looks weird, to say the least. It didn't help that it was metallic blue, but it kind of, I don't think that, because it's got quite a lot of curves, but it had lots of little bits all over it. You know, for instance, I'm sure they were carbon fiber, but from a distance they just look like plastic. So, you know, plastic surrounds on the double pipes of the exhaust to make them look bigger, but it just looked like a plastic add-on. It didn't add to the look of the vehicle at all. From what I saw on the website, because I had to come back and look up what it was, apparently you've got an option of the carbon fiber roof, or you can get the full glass panel, which is electrostatically tinted, and it just looked really weird. And then when you look at the fact that it was best part of $1 million Aussie sitting on the road, it just felt wrong. Give me a DB9 any day. Right, what was I going to do? I got completely distracted. That is liquid fert, which is back We've got liquid fern. We lost another 25 bucks. What is costing me $25 at the change of the hour? Something we've got running. It does all depend on that. Puts my $100 a year into Farm Sim into perspective, doesn't it? Yeah, I don't think the money page will tell me much. It's a production cost. I think. Who knows? Who knows? Well, let's put the milk tanker back in the shed for a change. Try and keep that tank looking shiny. Could be animal water. You only notice that if you're that close to zero and it's running out. And but I think that's where we're going to leave it, folks. And we've done a lot of the chores. I wanted to get I will get the rest of those bales done. We'll drop some water in here while we're there. But yeah, I think we're in good shape. We'll sell that silage as soon as it's... Yeah, it could be. I didn't notice if this one has a... 25 just seems small. Let's... Animals... Cows... Which one are we in? We're in... This guy, aren't we? No. That one. Doesn't tell me. I'd have to look at the XML. Never mind. Not important. We will overload. Back, my dumbest automotive decision was a few years, well, 20 years ago now, but I bought a demo 535i BMW, so it was lovely to drive, but a complete waste of money. And replacing the automatic transmission at when it had only done 17,000 Ks didn't fill me with joy either. So all in all, it was just an extravagance that was unwarranted, and there you go. But it was lovely to drive. So I'm going to leave it here, folks. Thank you very much for stopping by, everyone. Hope you have a great week, and stay safe. I will see you, those of you that can make it, on Thursday, same bat time. Have fun, everyone. See ya. Thanks for watching.